On today's Venus Diamond Fridays, we're going to talk about our wishes. We're going to specifically talk about the moon. And why are we going to talk about the moon when it comes to our wishes? Um, the moon is the part of our chart and the part of our world that signifies our interior world, our emotions, our feelings. By knowing and understanding our moon sign as well as the moon cycles, we can flow through all the things that come at us and all the things that happen in life with more presence and awareness and emotional stability as much as that's possible. You guys know we aim for the most. But knowing about our moon and what the moon is in currently, because the moon changes about every 2.5 days. And so you might be a Libra moon, but when it comes to a Scorpio moon, or when it comes time that it's an Aries moon, it's gonna feel like a whole different world because we are not supposed to be the same. That's the whole point of knowing all about this astrology, is so that we flow with life because we're not supposed to stay the same. So whenever somebody says to me, "Oh well, I'm a Virgo. That's just how I am," right? I'm a Capricorn. I'm a Sagittarius. No. Yes, be the most amazing parts of that sign. We love that. And also work on the challenging aspects of that. One way we do that is by knowing the ebbs and flows that happen during the cycles of our days, weeks, months as they progress. You know, astrology is like a big symphony, and it's constantly changing and the parts are constantly changing, and a part of that means adaptability, right? Some signs love that. Let me hear it for the Sages and the mutable signs, Geminis, Pisces, Virgos. But some signs have a harder time. And on the opposite spectrum, stability. You know, our fixed signs, our cardinal signs, there's different energies and it's all to be used. And so, my goal with this quick video on moons is for us to become a little more familiar with why it's so important. Honestly, if you just wanted to focus on your moon, that would be fantastic. Because again, that's how we feel and process the world. That's how we're going to take in what happens to us, respond, and react, and including to others. That's where it can go very well and very awry. And so knowing about that means, oh wow, if I know I'm going to be more fearful, if I'm going through a phase where I know I'm going to be more protective, I'm going to be more defensive, I'm going to be more, I don't want to say paranoid, but more on the lookout for problems, well, then you can channel that energy and proactively use it to set up systems, to organize, you know, rather than other times when you're in a period where you're just like all about partying and flowing and good times and ideas and generation. You can use that time, right? No matter what cycle we're in, things are going to come at us, right? People are going to come at us, things are going to happen. And if we know, okay, this person is in this cycle, somebody that's very close to you, then you understand, oh, they're not going to be really so apt to have a sit down chat. Doesn't mean you don't have the chat and initiate the chat. It just means by being aware of where a person is coming from, you won't take it personally. And also, you'll know the best way to handle it. Caveat as always, we are not using this to manipulate and to get what we want to the betterment or, you know, one-upping on others. No, we are using this to be able to effectively communicate better our needs, our wants, what's going on, to illuminate and help conversation with others and communication, right? It's the whole game. Because remember, you can't game the system. Knowing all this is wonderful and important, but at no point is knowing this meaning you're gonna get away with something you're not gonna have to do. No, but you can use it more helpfully. So for example, I'll say with me, I have a Virgo moon, right? So I tend to, oh, well, that's a stupid emotion and useless, and why would I have that, right? Plus, being a double Sag, it's been a life, you know, long process of connecting with my feelings, connecting with other people's feelings, before I say something, right? Before I react. Now, do I get that right? More than wrong these days, but also it's okay. You know what I mean? This is where Virgo moon perfectionism, and now as we have Virgo in the South Node, it is a real karma point for everybody and for people with this placement. I did the video out the other day on Blake Lively, who has a Virgo stellium in the first house, sun, moon, and all the personal planets. Also, interestingly enough, Fiona Apple is a sun and moon Virgo. We love her, shining her light and being for others. Classic Virgo. Knowing that I'm going to be more Mercurian, right? It's ruled by Mercury, so I'm going to be heady. I'm going to try to figure it out. I'm going to be quick, right? But it's about emotions. There's no quickening past, the grief of my father, right? There's no quickening past hurt feelings with somebody, right? I can not want to feel it and move past it. It doesn't work that way. It catches up with us all. And so by knowing our moon, we can best soothe ourselves also, right? And handle things that happen. Now, talking about this in the month of Taurus, when this video is made, is absolutely perfect because the moon, even though it rules the month of Cancer, and so it's very at home there, it's exalted in Taurus. It is very, very happy there. And knowing that is such a beautiful, first of all, link to Venus Fridays, but also it's important to understand that just because one sign seems to be one way, it doesn't mean it doesn't contain multitudes, to bring in some Cummings. So for example, Venus, which loves pleasure, Taurus, which loves pleasure, it loves luxury, it loves good food and dining and beautiful experiences and beautiful places. That is a very moon experience, right? The moon, how we feel things, it wants to feel good. Taurus is a feel good enjoyment of pleasure in earthly ways rather than, a Sag party or an Aries, I'm out there. It's very much home at that. So it's not necessarily, and it's an earth sign, right? So you might think, oh, they're not going to be emotional, or I don't know, they can be very emotional. And so it's an opportunity when looking into your moon sign and when learning about another's moon sign to see, oh, wow, I didn't know that was possible. Or I didn't know that sign reacted that way. And it adds a depth and a layer of wonder and also useful, practical information. Because again, it's all about our relationships in this world, right? How can we better connect with people, build bridges with other people, get what we want, whether it's at the post office, and obviously, you're not going to know their sign unless you're like me and you end up asking. But what you can do is, in the people that are close to you and around you, knowing their moon sign can very much aid your relationship. Also, remember, while the moons change every couple of days, we also progress. And so at a different, timeline than that, but people's moon signs change. So right now, for example, I'm in a Gemini moon sign and it can last for a while. And so knowing where you're at can also help you to understand why you're maybe making different decisions or other things are weighing heavier on you than before. Because again, it goes through cycles, it goes through changes. So knowing your moon, knowing how it's changed and progressed in your chart, again, obviously I can do these readings for you, which you can sign up for on my website, only on my website. By knowing these changes in yourself and in the people closest to you, you can work easier, more fluidly, I'll say, with others to emotional fulfillment, to connection, to getting your needs met, which first of all is obviously, our responsibility, but it's also our responsibility to communicate that to somebody. And there'll be different periods where that might be harder, right? It might be harder to access why you're wanting something or why you're feeling a certain way. So knowing that, just be kind to yourself. Don't, there's no always written rule about this stuff. It changes and fluctuates, which is why people tend to get readings every 6 months or every year, because when we go through eclipses, everything changes. And when we go through different cycles of our life. So know your moon sign, know others' moon sign, and use it for good, and definitely for bringing your wishes to fruition. Because that's the whole point. We want to have happy, fulfilled lives. And so use this to that end. What do you want me to do in the next video? Let me know. Bisous.